Thank you all so much for joining us this morning for Saturdays are for Cricut. Holiday crafting. We have Shawn here with us. Thank you all so much for joining us again this Saturday. We've got a few more classes left in this series. And so Shawn, tell us what we're going to be doing today.
Well, after the last class, I kind of asked people, what do they want to learn? And I'm going to forget who actually reached out to me over Facebook Messenger. And she was saying that her and some of the other attendees really wanted to learn how to download an SVG file and maybe how to use that to decorate an ornament.
Okay.
So before we even get into the SVG file, I want to talk about your ornament options and your vinyl options. Okay. So most people know of like the glass ball ornaments. I got these that are kind of a flatter disc just because this is going to be easier to put your designs on because it's honestly, I think the shape looks like a M&M, a clear M&M, but since it's got a flatter surface, it's going to be easier to work with than those perfectly round ones. So save yourself the headache, start with something flatter. If you want to go even flatter than this, I personally love these. Well, that's hard to see because it's clear. These discs, it's an acrylic disc shape. You can go on Amazon and find acrylic discs in either the round shapes or different custom shapes. People use them to make ornaments, but also keychain holders because you can put your keychain loop through that little hole. So again, flat, so that when we start, I always feel so bad for people when they start with the perfectly round glass Christmas traditional ball, because then they're like, my vinyl's not laying flat. Well, that's because you're trying to put a flat design on a curved surface. It takes time to get to the experience level to work on that curve. So do yourself a favor, start flat. Another option are these wood slice ornaments. Again, a flat surface. So then, you know, you're just putting your vinyl down on something flat that makes your life a lot easier. Okay. With all of these options, before you apply any sort of vinyl, you're going to want to clean them off. So I did this before the class. I took this wood slice ornament. I just put some rubbing alcohol on like those cotton pads that you use to clean your face. Wiped it all down front and back because I didn't know which side I was going to put the vinyl on. But then you want to let that dry too, because you don't want to be putting your vinyl on something that's got moisture in it. So my tip is, if you're going to decorate ornaments, get out the rubbing alcohol, clean all of them off, let them sit overnight, apply the vinyl the next day. I did that same thing with this this clear ornament in case we get to decorate that one too. Okay, so that's a little 2 bits for me on ornaments. I've also seen people doing the tile ornaments. Again, flat surface. So that is a great place to start so that you can complete something and make it successfully without having the frustration of doing the curved. Okay. If you're going to move up into the curved one, a lot of times people will use a transfer tape to move that vinyl onto the ornament. You can cut little slits in that transfer tape so that it kind of starts to curve with your rounded ornament. Lettering, I find, curves better because you can kind of stick down individual letters versus, you know, something big like this. Try to put that curved surface. Once you start to press things down, you get air bubbles. When you're pressing things down, no matter if you're going with a flat surface or a curved surface, I like to kind of take my design, once I have it on my transfer tape, kind of fold it in half, just lightly. And then I'm hoping you can see me. Oh yeah, let's do it that way. If I kind of center it and place it like this and smooth it down through the center with my finger, and then smooth away to one side and smooth away to the other side. That helps you to lay things down without as many bubbles. Another trick that works on something like the acrylics or the glass ornaments is using what's called the wet method. Get a little spray bottle, put just a couple drops of dish soap in here, and then fill it with water. Then what you're going to do is spritz the acrylic blank and spritz the backside of your vinyl. So now they're both kind of slippery. So then when you go to place this down, if you don't get it right, you can pull it back up because there's enough water and slipperiness in there that it doesn't make a hard stick. Then once you press it down, you're going to kind of grab a towel and kind of press the water out too. Those of you are going to have to kind of let sit overnight because you need all that water to dry off. So those are some of my basic tips about picking an ornament and applying some different designs. Does anybody have any questions about picking an ornament and maybe where to start? So if I'm going to Veronica to see if there's questions.
No, I don't have anybody yet here.
Awesome. Okay. So after you've picked the style of ornament you want to work with, and I'm going to use my wood slice as my example. Next, you got to pick what type of vinyl you're going to put on it. I actually have two examples. This one is an adhesive vinyl, also called permanent vinyl. You might also hear people call it 651 because kind of the standard, or kind of like how Kleenex is really, I'm sorry, facial tissues are, can be Puffs brand or Kleenex, but people just call them, okay, I have a Kleenex, no matter what brand it is. Well, Oracle was kind of the brand that is known for their vinyl, and they code theirs by different levels, and 651 is their permanent. So you will hear people say, oh, I need 651. They just mean that it's a permanent adhesive vinyl. And what that means is it has color on one side, this is white, and the back side of this vinyl is sticky. So if you're like me and you have a lot of vinyl, you might have a roll like this, and you'll be like, well, what kind of vinyl is this? Well, most times the adhesive vinyl, permanent vinyl, is going to have a paper kind of grid on the back side of it. I don't want to say all of the time, because as soon as I say that, there's going to be a company that comes out with a brand that doesn't have the grid. But most times that's your clue that it is adhesive vinyl. The other way to know is I'm going to take my weeding tool and just kind of poke up the corner. There we go. What I'm doing is peeling back just the corner to check. This part, the color vinyl part, is sticky. That means it's adhesive vinyl. This is just a paper backing to hold everything in place and help you, with your weeding and cutting and such. So that's how you know this is permanent vinyl. The vinyl is sticky. If this was iron-on vinyl, like what I used here, then if I did that same peel it up test, I'm doing this with a little scrap of vinyl. Okay. So I just peeled up the corner. This is an iron-on vinyl. How do I know that? Just by touching it. Well, when I'm touching the vinyl part over here, nothing is sticky. Absolutely nothing is sticky. It feels kind of waxy, but that is because this kind of vinyl, iron-on or heat transfer vinyl, also called HTV, the adhesive is activated when you apply heat. So you're not going to feel sticky to the touch. Where you do feel sticky is over here on the clear carrier sheet that's really hard to see because it's clear. The clear carrier sheet is sticky. That is because if we cut a design with this and weeded away the vinyl, then our design is going to be stuck on that carrier sheet, which is kind of sticky. Well, then we would lay that on top of the wood slice ornament and use the heat press to press that on. Then once it's pressed, that's when the heat activates the adhesive. Once it cools off, I can peel off that carrier sheet and the design will be stuck to the wood slice. I know there's people going, wait a minute, I can iron on wood. Yes, you can. That's exactly what I did with this. It made it really easy because the weeding is so easy because you have that carrier sheet and iron on vinyl, I think weeds easier. And especially when you use a good quality brand like Caesar. There's my little plug. But yeah, then I just heat press this on. So if you have a heat press that is a clamshell, which is the kind that you have your flat surface and then the press comes down like this, you are going to have problems when you try to put this ornament in here and have it close down because that hinge is going to not like the depth of that. What you can do though, what I did, is I heated up my heat press. I grabbed an oven mitt to protect my hand, and then I held this ornament up to the heating element of my press because mine is a clamshell. If you have the easy press, you just set that straight down on there. If you have a swing away, you will have no problems because those come straight down also. Okay, so first off, you're going to pick the style of ornament you want to work with. And you can see when I'm working with wood, I can choose either adhesive vinyl or iron-on vinyl. Now, if I decide to work with acrylic, I can't do iron-on that because the heat of the press is going to affect that acrylic. Same with a rounded glass. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get anything to curve. I wonder if you could do it with the Cricut hat press, though. That's an experiment for a different day. Okay, so first pick out your ornament style, then decide what kind of vinyl you're going to use, because that's going to determine where you go from here. If you're going to need to have a heat press or if you're going to play around with transfer tape. Transfer tape is a clear sheet that is sticky on one side that helps you lift up your entire design and move it onto your ornament or whatever you're putting your design on. So this, it has little grids if you want to use that for lining stuff up. But this part is sticky so that we can pick up those adhesive vinyl pieces and move them onto our design. In a pinch, if you do not have transfer tape around, I have used the clear contact paper sheets and cut those up. And you can reuse this stuff. So once you've used it on your design, put it back on the backing, and you'll be able to tell when it's not picking up the design anymore that it's time to get some new transfer tape. Okay. Can you hear me in here? I see a couple nods. Good. Okay. So I had a lot of people that asked me, how do you get SVG files? I'm going to show you. If you go to Google and type in my name, Shawn Mosh, and SVG, now I have to change my share screen. One moment, please. I have to share a different screen so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Let's share this one. So the easiest way to find this list that I'm going to show you is go to Google and type in Shawn Mosh SVG. The first thing that's going to show up is this article I wrote about SVG files. What are they? Where do I get them? If you click on that, not only do I explain what an SVG file is and how to tell the difference from an SVG file to just a PNG file, I show you right here, when you go and download an SVG file, a lot of times you're going to get a zip folder. So then once you unzip that folder, there's going to be multiple files inside that zip folder. Think of the zip folder like you're shopping on Amazon, you order something on Amazon. The zip folder is your Amazon box. You have to unzip it and get inside of it to get your SVG. So you can see there's multiple different files in here. These different file types can work with different types of programs and software. The one you want is the SVG. You can see this one even ends in .svg, which makes it even easier to figure out. But the confusion a lot of people get mixed up with is when they open this file, they go, oh, that's the design I was looking for right here with the pretty picture, and they upload this. This one is a PNG. That's only going to save as a print and cut and not as a cut file. You want the SVG because you want to be able to cut, okay? So if you keep scrolling, websites with free SVG files. Down here, I list a whole bunch of sites that offer absolutely free SVG files. I would love it if you use my links and then sign up with these different companies and get an account. They'll add you to their mailing list, and then when they upload new SVGs, or they have some free ones and then some paid ones, and when they have a sale on their paid ones, then you're going to get a notification. So I'm going to click on Creative Fabrica. Love this place, use it all the time. And I already have an account there. So I am signing in. Okay, so I want to go to freebies. See right here, it says freebies. It says free SVG. I'm going to click on that. These are all free SVG files. That would look really pretty on an ornament. Oh my gosh. A little gnome, how cute. Okay, so there's all kinds of things in here that we could do. But I thought this one with the little baby feet might be cute for like a baby's first Christmas. So I'm going to click on that design. And we can see down here in the description, it says we're going to get an SVG file. That's what we want, okay? So I'm going to download that. Yeah, now it's asking me, sign up for our free trial. I just exit out of that because maybe later. Okay, I am going to check my downloads folder to see if that downloaded. Yep, it did. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing this and see if I can share. There we go. So now you're going to see on my computer, I went to my downloads folder. Right here is the heart with baby feet zipped folder. I can tell it's a zip folder because it's got that little zipper icon on it. And if I had my computer set up so you could see more details, it would probably say .zip at the end of it. Every computer or every operating system is going to be slightly different for how you open a zip folder. So if you have a Mac, please go on Google and type in how to unzip folder on Mac. Okay, if you're using your iPad, I have a video for that on my YouTube on the iPad. On my computer here, what I can do is right click on this image and I get this extract all choice. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to ask me where I want to extract that to, and I'm going to tell it I just want to extract it to that same downloads folder. And now you can see there's a secondary folder in my downloads that does not have that zipper on it. So if I go inside there, I can see I have all different options. The Microsoft Edge options are the ones I would want to choose for the SVG file. You can also see they have this little swirly whirly icon. That's how you know that's the right one to use to upload a cut file. Any questions about how to find and download an SVG file? Okay, so a true SVG file, you have to go and download it. You can't just go to Google Images and go save as. That's not an SVG file, that's an image. And maybe we can do that for a different class because I don't know that we'll have time to do that for today. Okay, so now we're back in Cricut Design Space. I'm going to go to Upload over here on the left-hand side of my screen and go Upload Image. I'm going to browse to that Downloads folder, Downloads, to the unzipped version of the folder. And I'm going to click on the one that says Heart with Baby Feet. That's got the little swirly Microsoft Edge icon and say Open. And there it is. That's all I had to do because I'm using a true SVG file. It automatically comes in as a cut image. If you've ever uploaded an image and you get a screen where it says, you know, pick if this is a complex or an easy image, and then when you get here, then it asks you to remove the background, and then you get to a step that says choose if you want the cut image or the print the cut image. That means what you uploaded was not an SVG file. It was just an image. Okay. This file has all the data in it telling the Cricut software what color you want this layer, where the cut edges are. It's all defined because it's a file. All I have to do is click Upload, and there it is in my Uploads folder. I can now click it and add it to the canvas. So it came in at almost 8.5. And I had already measured my wood slice, and it's about 3.5. So I'm going to go 3.25. And I'm just doing that by typing it into the size up here. Oops. So you can see that distorted it. Let's go undo. I'm going to go back to my uploads and just grab the image again. I forgot to look at this little icon here where the little padlock is. I need that locked. So I'm just going to click on it so I close the padlock. Now when I go 3.25 for the width, it proportionally changed the height. Okay. Any questions about how to upload a SVG file? So I am noticing with this SVG file, all these little hearts look like they're separate pieces. So I want to check something. When I click make it, you see how it moved all those little hearts all over everywhere instead of around the bigger heart like the original design looked. Let's go cancel. This is all about how the SVG was designed. Some people design them so they stay in place. Some people design them so you can move them. So I like to check it by clicking make it. So we need to tell Design Space we want to keep all of these itty bitty hearts exactly where they are placed right now. To do that, because this is all one color, I can just go down here to my paperclip icon that says attach and click attach. Attach is now going to hold everything in place. So when I go make it, see how the little itty bitty hearts are right around the big heart? Okay. That makes sense? Stop me if you have questions. Now I'm going to click continue. It's connecting to my Cricut, so I'll be heading back to the other room as soon as it's done connecting. Right now it's set on cardstock. I am going to have to turn the dial to switch it to vinyl, and then we'll do some cutting. So, okay. So I have this bright pink permanent vinyl, which I thought would be cute for a little baby, baby's first Christmas ornament. Okay. So I am going to just cut off a chunk. So I'm working with a smaller piece. Okay. So I'm going to place that in the upper left-hand corner of my Cricut mat. Here's another tip. Typically, people are going to tell you to put your mat in this way with this edge going in. I like to rotate my mat, so you can put it in backwards. So now if I'm doing it backwards, this is my upper left. Have you ever used a mat and you get one corner that's like really worn out, but the other side is like brand new, fresh, sticky? Use this rotate method. You can put it in, front or back, and then that helps you so that you use more of your mat and you get more use out of it. Another tip I have is if you're like me and you use your mats to death, get some blue painter's tape, or this is some washi tape. And if I can get the tape to stop sticking to itself, so if your mat isn't very sticky, you can actually tape down with blue painter's tape or washi tape the edges of whatever you're putting on your mat. That's going to help hold things in place. So now you get more use out of your mat. Okay, I am going to load my mat, making sure it's under both of these little guides. I also like to hold onto the end of my mat so that when it loads, it really catches it. I've seen people just lay it like this, and because gravity is pulling things this way, it doesn't load straight or it doesn't load all the way. So I just like to hold it so that when I do that, it kind of catches and pulls it in. Okay. Next, the little C is going to start blinking. I'm going to press that and we're going to start cutting. Okay, we are done cutting. Another tip, if you get done cutting and you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel like it cut all the way through, do not press this upload button. Press the C button again. It will cut the exact same design right over the top. If you press unload, you could slightly shift the position of where everything is. So I think I'm safe, so I'm going to go unload. This is also another trick I use for when my Cricut blades are getting dull. And I was like, I just need to get a project done. And I don't have time to go buy a new blade. So I'll just do a double cut is what I call it, where you just press the C and cut it a second time versus going to get a new blade. Yes, Shawn's a little bit of a cheapskate. Sorry, the truth comes out. Okay, so now I'm going to peel off the painter's tape or washi tape. And it did also, because of the way I placed it, cut onto that a little bit with my design. Guess I didn't plan that out the best. Okay, I'm going to use my weeding tool. And all I'm doing here is kind of getting underneath. You can see where my washi tape actually got cut, just like my design. So I am just using the weeding tool to kind of scrape up and peel the painter's tape, washi tape portion off of my design so that I'm not having green on my little paint design. So the next step in this process is going to be weeding. Just like weeding your garden, weeding vinyl is getting rid of the junk you don't want. And for this, the junk we don't want is everything around the outer edge of these hearts. And I'm gonna bring this up to, let's see if I can get a light. Can you see those little heart cuts? So I'm just going to take some scissors and trim this piece down some more. Boom. Okay. So now we're going to want to peel away the adhesive vinyl that's outside of the cutting area. So when I go to peel it back, I like to do this kind of roll it back method because I feel that kind of helps things separate nicer. I mean, look at how nice those little hearts are separating. As soon as I say that, I see one that didn't separate. So I'm going to just lay this. I just laid this back down because this one over here didn't separate, and I'm rubbing my thumb over it. And let's roll this again. Any questions while I'm weeding? And
Shawn,
honestly,
there is a question. It says, what is the difference between the two weeding tools? From Nancy.
Okay, so this weeding tool that literally looks like the thing they clean your teeth with at the dentist. I swear that's why when I saw this, I was like, really? This is a little hook and it helps you to hook things and pull things away. The other weeding tool I love, which I got from my craft source, is this weeding pen. It's called a pin pen. Not sure if you can see in the tip. There you go. There's a little pin that sticks out. This helps me poke things and pull them back. They have all different kinds of options of hooks and tools. Honestly, this is the one I use. This one. It's all about your personal preference, really. There's not one that's like, oh, this is better. But here's the deal. Go look on other companies' websites, like companies that sell vinyl. Most of them sell one that looks like this, and then a pin pen. So if Caesar, the people who make the vinyl, say, you really only need these two things. So I think I figured out why I was having problem with those hearts at the top. That's where my transfer tape, or not my transfer tape, my washi tape was overlapping. So my cut went through the washi tape and had to go through the vinyl. So I'm being a little bit more careful with my weeding than I would have to be if I didn't have that tape on there. But that's okay. We had time to talk then, right? And I'm almost done. So if you have some, like I'm having this one heart that just keeps why I pull up, I'm going to take my weeding tool and hold it down as I peel away to help keep it in place. And now I have all this vinyl stuck to my hands. And I'm afraid it's going to get stuck to the vinyl I'm trying to weed away. So I'm going to peel that off. And for everybody who's sitting there thinking, oh, I saw a TikTok video and they just peeled the vinyl off so easy. Yeah, I do those videos too. It's called editing. Video editing allows us to quickly rip things off, and you don't see this little fussiness that sometimes goes on. Okay, I did have one heart that did not want, oh, there it goes. Did not want to pop out. So it's on my finger now. Here's another use for that weeding tool. Since it's just one little heart, I can stick it on my weeding tool and just put it back in place. See, again, this is the real world stuff you won't see when you watch somebody's video. I mean, even mine, I'm good. I would have edited all of that out. So now you can see there's the outer design, okay? But there were little baby feet in the inside. So now I can use my weeding tool to just kind of poke that inside and peel out the footprint. I'm sorry, it's cute. That's why I squealed. And I tend to just stick these pieces on my fingers, or you can get a little thing like this that, here's the nice thing about this. If I have stuff on my weeding tool, I stick it in there and slide it through one of these little cracks and it just takes it out. The bad thing is then you end up with all these pieces in there that you gotta fish back out. So, but when you're like on the go, this is kind of nice. Now I'm getting the toes. I want to just show you the progress because that's so cute. Look at those little baby feet. Okay, so now I have my design fully weeded. I got all the little toes out of there. I'm sorry, I love babies. I can't wait till I'm a grandma. Okay. So I could use my contact paper, but I'm going to actually use the transfer tape. So I'm going to peel that off its backing. So now this side is sticky. I'm going to lay the sticky side down on top of my decal that I just made. Okay, so now the sticky side is down on the design I just weeded. I'm going to take another handy dandy tool. So this is a two-sided squeegee scraper thing. If you get a bunch of stuff on your Cricut mat, you can use this side to just kind of scrape it all off. The soft side I use to do this. I'm going to tilt my screen so you see it better. So I'm going to just rub this back and forth over my design. This is getting the vinyl to stick to the transfer tape. Flip the whole thing over. Do this again, because we want it to stick to the transfer tape. Now we're going to peel the backing of the vinyl off. I see so many people take it like this and peel back the transfer tape, and they're like, ah, why is it sticking? Well, if you make it stick to the transfer tape and then peel that back, you're going to have better luck. And then I like to do this kind of roll it method, where I'm rolling the backing away versus just ripping it straight up. It also helps that I have it on a flat surface. So now everything's staying flat. So then this rolling method helps keep things down on that transfer tape. There's a lot of little pieces with those little hearts. And I'm not gonna lie, there's sometimes when you do a design like this and a little piece will start to stick to that backing, you can either go over it and burnish it again with this, or take your weeding tool and just kind of help it off of the backing. Again, this is where, you know, the people like me that do videos make it look so easy. But I would have recorded this and then with my editing tools, made the speed of it go like 3 times as fast. And that's why it looks so easy. So don't let those bloggers out there fool you that it's all easy peasy magic. Okay. Oh my God. Now I stuck my finger on the design because I was talking and not paying attention. One moment. See this, if this was video, I'd be editing that out. But instead, you're going to see real life. Okay. There. So now we can see the entire design is on the transfer tape. This side is the front of the transfer tape. This is the back. Everything here is now sticky because the transfer tape is sticky and we've now exposed the sticky part of the vinyl. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So I am just gonna get on my tiptoes, so I'm kind of looking down on this and center it as best I can on the wood slice. And once I set it down, I'm going to smooth right through the center first. So just like a straight line through the center with my finger. Then I'm going to smooth out to the edges. This is how you make sure you don't get bubbles. Okay. So now it looks like this. Now we can burnish this down because we really want that vinyl to stick. If you have not cleaned off your wood slice good enough, this is where you could end up with problems, because if it's dusty and dirty and just, I mean, even just that factory dust that is on everything, you're going to notice that like it's not going to stick. So now this is where we get to see how well I cleaned mine. So again, I'm using my little roll it back. I like the roll it back because then if there's a spot that's not sticking, I can see it and kind of just roll the other way and press it down. And I hope you all appreciate that I'm actually doing this with fancy nails on, because crafting with pretty nails is always more challenging. almost there. Whoa. Okay, transfer tape is off. I'm going to stick it back on its backing because I'm going to use that again. And I'm going to go over this with my finger a couple more times. But there you go. The whole design on the wood slice. Let this set. Just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't pick it. Don't go, oh, I want to check and make sure it's really stuck on there. Leave it alone for a good 2-3 days. That's going to give the vinyl time to cure. And that's basically just means it's settling onto the wood. If you go like, oh, I'm so excited, I want to check and make sure that's good stuck, good stick on there. If I touched it and picked at it with my nail, I can pull it back off right now. It's fresh. So just let it set. You do not have to seal this with anything. I will see so many people on Facebook that'll be like, oh, should I seal it with a coat of Mod Podge over the top? No, that's going to give your vinyl kind of a foggy look is the best I can think of for a term. If you just let it sit and leave it alone, if you've cleaned your piece and prepared your surface properly, then it should just stick. So I'm checking time. Oh, 11:02. So I'm 2 minutes over. Sorry. Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions here in the chat.
Okay. If you have any questions afterwards, because if you're like me, like 10 minutes after this gets done, you'll be like, oh, I should have asked. Just email me, Shawn Mosh, all one word, no spaces, no anything, @gmail.com. I would also love to hear from you what you want to do next week, because I did have some things planned, but if my plans don't connect with what you want to learn, then I'd rather teach you what you want to learn. That's what brings me joy, is teaching people what they want to learn. So, oh, thanks for dropping my email in there. So, yeah, so we learned how to download the SVG file, how to identify what an SVG file is when you're downloading a bundle, how to open up that zip folder and get to the file, upload that file into Design Space, cut it out of vinyl, put it on an ornament, and we also talked about what the different types of vinyl are. Oh, that was a lot.
I think we're good. Marie, Gigi, do you have any questions or anything? Okay. Well, I think you hit the nail on the wood on the nail today. So yeah, if you have any ideas of what you'd like to learn for next week, just drop in a quick email to Shawn. And because when we worked with Shawn, we have an idea of what kind of classes we would do for this series. And so obviously, if it's something that you want to learn, we want to make sure that you all get that information, that you might be looking for the holiday season. Well, I think
Awesome.
That's all we have for today. So thank you to Shawn, and thank you to everybody for joining us this morning. And I hope you have a really good day today. It's kind of cloudy outside for me here in Texas, and we had supposedly a cold front, but our cold fronts are about 60 degrees. So it doesn't get too cold
up here in Minnesota. I'm like, woohoo!
Yeah, like summer weather for you.
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah, I'm hoping we're supposed to get some cold weather, but we probably won't. But anyway,
if it gets cold, it's a good day for crafting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it makes you want to stay inside and do a lot of stuff. So yeah, I might just stay home.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.